The science lab was supposed to be the safest place in school. Rows of microscopes glimmered under the fluorescent lights. Jars of preserved specimens lined the shelves, and the faint smell of disinfectant lingered in the air. But that afternoon, the air was different, thick with tension. Like a storm about to break, Mrs. Evelyn Carter stood at the front, her voice calm but commanding as she explained the next experiment. At 38, she carried herself with quiet authority, her dark hair pulled back in a no-nonsense bun, her posture perfectly straight. The students only knew her as the tough but fair science teacher. They didn't know the truth that before she ever stepped into a classroom, she had served 10 years in the military, surviving battlefields that would haunt anyone for life, in the back of the lab. Tyler Briggs lounged in his chair, twirling a pen between his fingers. He was the school's most notorious troublemaker, big, brash, and arrogant. His father's wealth had kept him out of serious trouble more than once, and he wore that immunity like a crown. Today, though, his arrogance had reached its peak. When Mrs. Carter told him to put his phone away for the third time, his smirk turned into something darker. "You think you can boss me around? You're just a teacher," he spat, standing up so suddenly his chair clattered backward. The room fell silent, every student frozen. Then, without warning, he closed the distance between them, his large hand shooting out and clamping around her throat. Gasps rippled through the lab, but Evelyn's eyes didn't widen. Her breathing didn't quicken. In that split second, muscle memory from years of training roared back to life. Her hand shot up, breaking his grip with a swift upward block, twisting his wrist at an angle that made him stumble. Before he could regain balance, she stepped in, using his own momentum to pin him against the lab table. The room seemed to shrink around them, the sound of glass beakers rattling under the pressure of her hold. "Let go." Her voice was low, controlled, but carried a weight that made even the bravest student shiver. Bravado's bravado crumbled, fear flashing in his eyes. When she released him, he staggered back, rubbing his wrist. You can't touch me. I'll get you fired," he barked, trying to rebuild his wall of arrogance. Evelyn didn't raise her voice. She simply looked at him with the kind of gaze soldiers give when they've seen the worst humanity has to offer. "You don't scare me, Tyler, and you never will." The principal was called, the police arrived, and within the hour, Tyler's father stormed into the school, his expensive suit and polished shoes doing little to hide the fury in his face. He tried to throw his weight around, insisting Evelyn be suspended, threatening lawsuits. But this time, the truth was on Evelyn's side. Several students had filmed the attack. The footage was clear. Tyler had been the aggressor. The district didn't just back her up. They praised her for her restraint. The police, after reviewing the video, charged Tyler with assault. His college prospects evaporated overnight. His father's money couldn't erase the evidence, and the story spread quickly online. For weeks afterward, Evelyn noticed a change. In her classroom, students sat straighter, spoke more respectfully, not out of fear. But because they had seen what true strength looked like, it wasn't about the fact she could defend herself. It was about how she had carried herself calm, in control, unwilling to be intimidated. Months later, quiet knock came at her door. It was Tyler. His hair was shorter, his eyes less wild. "I just wanted to say, I'm sorry," he mumbled. "I've been doing community service. I'm trying to get my life together." Evelyn studied him for a long moment. She thought about the soldiers she had served with, how some had made terrible choices, but found their way back. "Change isn't easy," she said finally. "If you mean it, prove it through your actions." Tyler nodded, and for the first time, she believed he might actually try. The incident became a quiet legend in the school. Students who heard the story didn't just talk about the fight, they talked about the lesson. Strength isn't about overpowering someone. It's about standing your ground without losing yourself. And Mrs. Evelyn Carter knew that, in the end. Her military past hadn't destroyed Tyler's future, it had given him the one chance he needed to rebuild it.